How can it be that just a change of goalkeeper can completely change the identity of a team? Last season, teams would look to press Man United the instant they had the ball. But since the arrival of Onana, teams are now much more wary of committing players forward. But why? Let's take a look. Welcome back to Football Meta. As a reminder, all the stats you see in this video are brought to you by Soccerment's brand new X-Value platform for the best in-depth metrics from 17 different leagues across the globe. You can now get a 25% discount on yearly subscriptions using the code FootballMeta at checkout. The link is in the description down below. Until relatively recently, the role of the goalkeeper was seen as pretty one-dimensional, tasked with keeping the ball out of the net and making a pass so the 10 outfield players could create an attack. So when goalkeepers like Fabian Barthez went full FIFA and rushed into the midfield, the whole world thought they were crazy. However, slowly but surely, goalkeepers are starting to have a bigger impact on the game. The amount of passes per game has steadily been trending upwards, and more managers are looking for goalkeepers that can play with their feet. And when it comes to this type of keeper, the most extreme version is Man United's new signing, Andre Onana. He's comfortable with the ball at his feet, he's creative, and he's very good under pressure, whilst also being a decent goalkeeper. His style is definitely not for everyone. The Cameroon international played only one game at the World Cup, after breaking the record for the most amount of touches outside the box from a goalkeeper, with his manager benching him after feeling he took way too many risks. But this signing is a hint to a changing tactical landscape, and the advantages he brings Man United are already starting to be seen. So let's first take a look at what makes Onana so unique. It's hard to paint the picture of what type of goalkeeper he is simply by looking at the stats. When comparing him to the Golden Glove winner David De Gea, their save ratios are similar, with De Gea preventing slightly fewer goals compared to Onana, and in general being recognised for his incredibly quick reaction saves. However, it's his passing metrics that show us the big improvement he brings over De Gea's slightly better shot-stopping ability. He ranks higher for both the amount of passes and the accuracy of these passes. De Gea is slightly more inclined to play long balls, but even his accuracy on these falls short compared to Onana. Far too often this season, Man United gave up possession due to De Gea putting a teammate in trouble. This meant that the majority of the time, Man United would look to build from the back, avoiding the goalkeeper, often forming triangles with the two centre-backs, holding mids and fullbacks. But the issue of building from the back without the goalkeeper is that it's much harder to gain a numerical advantage, and teams could very effectively close Man United down. In fact, build-up was definitely not one of Man United's strengths last season, ranking pretty low for possession and going long around 48% of the time, and were much more reliant on creating opportunities from counter-attacks and moving the ball directly into their more technical offensive players. The introduction of Onana sees Man United adopting a style more resemblant of other successful possession teams. No longer will they need to rely on these triangles, but Onana gives the possibility of forming a diamond shape in the centre, freeing up one extra player further up the pitch. This numerical advantage creates a lot of issues for the opposition. If they decide to press man for man, then it frees up a player in behind, which Onana is able to find with his pinpoint accuracy. While if they decide not to press, you still have the same issue, as Onana is comfortable moving the ball up the pitch, meaning eventually this numerical advantage is still going to work its way into the game. It doesn't matter how they decide to press. For example, with a front two, you still have a 3v2 in the centre, meaning it's easy enough to move the ball past them. Against the front three, then you have a free option in the centre of the pitch. This was clearly evident in the Champions League final. Man City are known for their well-organised aggressive press, but with the numerical advantage he creates, even City made the decision not to push too far up the pitch. But Onana was still able to find these key passes forward. In summary, a goalkeeper like Onana makes your team press resistant. But other than just creating a numerical advantage, Onana allows Man United's players to rotate in a way we haven't seen before. We can already see the impact he's having by taking a look at their recent friendlies. Against Dortmund, they initially looked to press with a front two. However, they quickly realised that this wouldn't work. Last season, De Gea with pressure like this would likely go long. However, the composure of Onana means he's calm under pressure and finds a simple pass away from the front two. To counter this, Dortmund dropped their pressure significantly and held a front three further back, which is the structure they used for the vast majority of the time. With Onana pushing up as the central player in this diamond, it allows Man United to free up a player. Last season, in a situation like this, Man United would have their two centre-backs in a central position, De Gea would be in goal, and the fullbacks would be in support on the flanks. This meant they had a 4v3 advantage in the first press, but would have a player less in the centre. What Onana allows, and something we are starting to see, is this more advanced positioning of one of the centre-backs into the centre. This means it's initially a 3v3 formed with the fullback, goalkeeper and one of the centre-backs, but there is a total overload in the centre, and there is no way for Dortmund to mark all of these players. As the ball shifts out wide, this overload can come into play, with Dortmund's attacking midfielder being in a 2v1, allowing the free pass and creating a domino effect of free players. We can see this more advantaged position of the centre-back in this clip here with Lisandro Martinez acting as the holding midfielder, creating this diamond shape in the centre and allowing their two actual holding mids to push up and stretch Dortmund's press as much as possible, creating huge gaps between the lines. Here's an example from their friendly against Real Madrid. As Onana pushes up outside the box, he is now acting as the centre-back, meaning Lisandro Martinez can push up and act as the holding mid, subsequently allowing the holding mid to push even further up and create an overload on the back line. As the ball moves out wide, Real Madrid are caught in two minds on who to press. As Modric's attention shifts to Mainu, it leaves Martinez in acres of space. In this clip they go for the direct ball, while in this clip Shaw plays it into Martinez, who again looks for the ball over the top. Quick side note, this is also why Man United were desperate for a striker, as now with Højlund they have someone who can attack these spaces more effectively. Why this could work so well at Man United is that it still allows them to exploit their technical and quick players up top. Whether it's Rashford, Antony, Garnacho, Sancho, Fernandes or Højlund, these players will have the freedom to constantly push up on the back line and be isolated in 1v1 situations. This means they can create gaps in a number of different ways. If the wingers drop deep, it frees channels in behind. If they will decide to attack forward, then the two midfielders in this position will have acres of space to receive the ball. With Onana at the back, it finally means Man United have a complete spine to their team, and players capable of linking the different elements together. Onana can break the first line into Martinez or Casemiro, who can then find Fernandes between the lines, who has more support in Mason Mount, along with rapid wingers and a striker ready to attack in behind. While their formation will likely remain a 4-2-3-1, just by adding this more offensive goalkeeper, Man United's shape could now resemble a 3-2-2-4. And yes, I'm including the goalkeeper in that shape. Maybe Todd Boehly was living in the future when he said his favourite formation was the 4-4-3. Now, even out of possession, having a goalkeeper this high up the pitch brings a lot of advantages. As Man United look to press high up the pitch, Onana's positioning means the defenders can look to keep the defensive line as high as possible, safe in knowing that the goalkeeper is ready to provide cover in behind if needed. Eventually meaning the team can save a lot of energy and constantly be ready to restart their attacks. There are obviously a lot of risks associated with this style of play. A good example is getting chipped from near the halfway line. However, these are the risks a manager is willing to accept for the advantages a goalkeeper like this brings. While this goal, in my opinion, is hardly Onana's fault and is down to a terribly misplaced pass in the centre of the pitch, it will be something teams will try if Man United were to give up possession cheaply in the centre of the pitch. So, with all that being said, what's the best counter to this type of playstyle? My prediction is that a lot of teams facing Man United this season will sit in a low block and look to create chances from counter-attacks. While it's true that Onana does provide a very significant advantage in the early stages, there comes a point where he can no longer push up, meaning the advantage disappears and United will need to find other solutions. If teams decide to completely concede half of the pitch, then by blocking off the centre and forcing play out wide, United could end up in a lot of deadlock situations, and teams could frustrate them by not conceding any space in the centre. Onana's playstyle marks a decisive moment in football tactics, as now even the role of the goalkeeper is shifted further away from tradition, and it signals the start of a new type of game. Man United have had an outstanding transfer window, and Ten Hag being reunited with Onana finally means we can see what the Dutch manager is made of. But I'm curious to know what you think of Andre Onana, and where do you think Man United will finish this season? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. If you want to go more in depth on the individual roles in football, then why not check out this video on the rising importance of ball playing centre backs. As always, if you enjoyed this content, then please leave a like and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.